our ancient fathers. Before Christianity brought in some confused morphemes, turning people's names against themselves and using epithets in order to ascribe to people whose children actually exist within the same borders where their forefathers were born. These are not children who have been dispersed into diaspora. These are people who dwell in the ancient land where the same people whose names were translated are born. My people, today, let's look at the name Igbo. And before I go ahead to talk about Igbo, I want us to understand one thing. The people you call Igbo have their original name. The name of their ancestor is what they are called by. But yet, people do not understand exactly what that name is. But that name is simply everywhere in the Bible. Are you trying to say that the Igbos are those? Yes, we are the people of the book. The entire Bible, from the beginning of the life of Abraham all the way to the life of Nzihu Chikobu, which you know as Jacob, and the one you call Moses, his name is Okezie, whom you call Mirikoshi, aka Moshe, down to the days of Dawide, whom you know as David, even Cholomone. Cholomone is what you call Solomon. Nobody was born Solomon as long as the Bible is concerned. All those things are transposed representations. These are words that were translated, words that were transliterated. Like I've always said it, that no noun can be translated. So when you say people's names are translated, it means that you are a deceiver, you are a liar. You can't translate people's names. West Africa is the home of the Bible. Few portions were covered in the eastern part of Africa because our ancestors actually migrated to those ends, places like Abyssinia, places like Eritrea, places like Congo. They are all scattered over Malawi and Kenya, Uganda. Within Djibouti axis, our ancestors were scattered in those places, including southern Sudan, Juba and its environs. You see our people over there. The first major king of the land of Abyssinia, which you know as Ethiopia today, is one of my uncles. His name is Ezana. The Ezana is the king over the 7 provinces. So when people talk about the Bible you're talking about is nothing but the Igbo man's history. And I want you to note that. Take note of that. That Bible you're talking about, the Bible, it's the Igbo man's history from A to Z. And the history of those who live around him. The Urobo is part of the history of the Bible. Ubini is part of the history of the Bible. The entire Enwani, in fact, the entire Enwani, which we know today as Idunu or Udoidu, is the central place of what transpired amongst the prophets. EHI, the book of EHI, everything about the book of EHI, the book you know as Isaiah, everything that happened in EHI happened in Udoidu, the land you call Enwani, or where you now call Delta State today, Delta North. That's where everything transpired. In the life of Okezie, which is you said the children of Israel came out of Egypt. Where is Egypt? There is no Egypt anywhere. It's Egypt. It's there in the land of Ishakiri and Ijo, stroke Ubini. Yes. I'm tired of even keeping quiet. The time I've come to tell the whole world the truth. When you hear people talk about Pharaoh, there's no Pharaoh anywhere. It's Perai. Perai is the king of the Ijo people, the seafarers, those who move on top of the waters. It's Perai. Like in the world, you have King Perekule, King Pereboe. Those are the Perai, not Pharaoh. It's Perai. So let me talk about the Igbo, the word you call Igbo. Let's look at its core meaning. Actually, the controversy and the dynamics of the ancient people called Igbo. Igbo is not just an enclosed, cultivated land, but a land where essence meets with the willingness to obey, which means Alibo. You see, where people say Igbo means bush or Igbo means forest, they are correct somehow, but the word Igbo actually means that same space, that same expanse, that space, that cultivated land, that ancient land where the ancestors go to enhance their exoteric knowledge with nature. That is true, but the people are called Ndigbo. When you say Alibo, that is the environment. Then the next one is we are a people of delineated, cultivated space, alive with life and culture, which is known as Igbo. I said we are a people of delineated, cultivated space, alive with life and culture, which simply means Igbo. Our settlement, calling Igbo a forested people, erases their sophisticated sense of community, law, and land stewardship, which simply means Obinibo. Igbo or Igbos is to make a boundary. People that master nature, exposed to the essence, significant features of Idunu, known as Eden. When you hear them say Eden, there is no Eden anywhere. The word is Idunu. I want you to take note of that. It is called Idunu. Idunu is what the Caucasians coined into Eden. We appreciate community, law, and land stewardship. Trust the man you call Ihoroha, which you now call Ikure, and the man you call the Ngwaman. Yes, we appreciate community, law, and land stewardship. Igbo, as a forest people, is simply a cultural misreading amongst Umigbo, Rumigbo, Amigbo, Okaigbo, Okwibo. I repeat, Igbo, as a forest people, is simply a cultural misreading amongst Umigbo, Rumigbo, Amigbo, Okaigbo, and Okwibo. It's actually truly the complete nature of everything Idunu. Bo, Ika. Bo and Ika. Its latest variation of Eden, put together in a promise, received by faith and transferred not just to the rightful heir, but through the resilience, cleverness, and love of Erimbako towards the son she loved, who also showed capacity to manage and uphold the trust. The quote that changed the status quo and also created a division in the book of Genesis 21, 12-13. And Chukwokike said unto Abiam, I read, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Nchara had said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For in Ishaku shall thy seed be called. The Most High told him already, told Abraham, said, don't even bother about the lad. It is in Ishaku that your seed shall be called. He said, continue verse 13, he said, and also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. He also promised to make a nation out of Ishama. Ishama is actually the first son of Abraham. But the Most High said, it is the child of Ncharai, the one of Sarah, that the seed of Abraham shall be called. So by Genesis 28 verse 1, on his way, this is the son of Ishaku, the second son of Ishaku, on his way to present-day Igon in Nosarowa, Ishaku transferred the blessings to Nzihu Chikobu, who in turn had an encounter with the Elohim, the one you know as Alulochi, what you call the host of heaven, after which by Genesis 32, his name changed to Nzihuchi or Nzerelu. Nzihuchi or Nzerelu became the name of Nzechikobu. And this is one name that the whole world is trying to hide. When you say they are Igbo or Ndi Igbo, there's a name that the world is trying to hide. The very name that Christianity took away from the people. The very name that the writers of the Bible stole from the people. The name of my forefather, the one you know as Nzehu Chikobu, is Nzerelu. And the name of Chukwokike, when two of them met, he said, I am your king, is Ezerelu. Ezerelu, out of Nzerelu and Ezerelu, the writers of the Bible took one and made it Israel. Beloved me, the name Israel does not hold water anywhere. That is forgery. It is total forgery. Israel does not have any meaning in heaven. It's total forgery. All the things you hear say, a God of Israel, there is no God of Israel anywhere. Our Father in heaven is Chukwokike Abraham, and he's the Chiadai of Abraham, Ishaku, and Nzechikobu. His titles are all written all over, like Ezorelu, which they say is Ezra. Ezora Elu, which they say is Ezra, Ezora. That is his title as a king or as a universal sovereign. That is his title. So when people come up with different names, titles here and there in the Bible and say it is, look, let me tell you something. Chukwuokike has nothing to do with the God that they've sold to the world. That's the truth. Chukwuokike has nothing to do with the God they sold into the world. The God they sold into the world is what is causing confusion everywhere today. That is the stamp of impostors. The God that they sold into the world today is a stamp of impostors, where a man will carry a knife to cut off his fellow man's head and say that Allah, which he claims to be God, have sent him to kill. It's a lie. Then the other person will not tell you that he wants to become a martyr because he wants to go to heaven. That God have told him or her not to defend himself and put his neck to cut and he shot Jesus and the neck is off and the person will die. It is not true. There is Chukwuokike cannot give you as a prey to the other man who is violent. It's a lie. It's not possible. Men have to wake up from slumber and defend themselves in the face of tyranny. In the face of tyranny. Since humanity does not want Chukwuokike to be their king, and they want to live like every person on earth, which means as the others are defending themselves, so also you're defending yourself. If America is producing bullets, guns, and bomb, all you can do is to produce your own bullets, gun, and bomb. That's why there's proliferation everywhere. But if you don't want to produce bullet, gun, and bomb, you return back to Chukwuokike, the giver of life, the creator of heaven, and make Chukwuokike your king, and not be looking at men as kings. The men who are king on earth do not qualify to be kings. You see, they cannot defend anybody. Kings defend their subjects. But these ones you call kings, who can they defend? They can't defend anybody. Now, Chukwuokike, in the book of Debareramnya, actually gave pet names to his friend's grandson, the one he chose to be his messenger, Nzihu Chikobo. Nzihu Chikobo simply means the prince of his presence. The prince of his presence, that is who he is, which is simply known as Metatron or Metatron Trono. So he gave him a pet name, and that pet name was also stolen and changed. The pet name is simply known as Eziwam Muronanya. Eziwam Muronanya is written in the book of Debareram, which you know, Deuteronomy 33, verse 5. And he was king in Eziwam Muronanya when the heads of the people and the tribes of Nzerelu were gathered together. Now, they went ahead to change Eziwam Muronanya and wrote down Jeshurun. Some of the book says Yeshurun. The word Yeshurun and the word Jeshurun are not correct. They are fictitious. They are fictitious, brought from nowhere, have no bearing at all, don't have a semblance in any language from the foundations of human life. So there is no Jeshurun anywhere, there is no Yeshurun anywhere. The word is Eziwam Muronanya, and Eziwam Muronanya is the reason we, the so-called Igbos, are called Omu Chukwuokike. We are the Eziomondo. You see, this is one of the things that brought about envy and hatred in the first place. Over the years, in the last 3,000 years, this is the source of all envies against the people. See, I'm not going to hold myself, and no more holds back. I'm going to spill the beans everywhere. Every single truth hidden in the scripture, I'm going to speak it. I'm going to say it. I don't care who is looking at me or who is not listening to me. I don't care who is coming after me. I do not care anymore, because I see that when you keep quiet, people go out of their way to distort information, to do evil, to rebrand people. You hate the Igbo man, no problem. But I'm going to tell you the truth about the Igbo man. His name, our name, we are Eziomu Ndohronanya. We are not Jeshurun. Whoever says it's Jeshurun is a lie. The word is Eziwam Hononanya, which is the pet name for Nzeihu Chikobo. And the pet name for his descendants, who are his children, is Eziomu Ndohronanya. When you hear Omu Chukwuokike, Omu Chineke, you hear Eziomu Ndohronanya, that is where it came from. Go to Debareram 33 verse 5, Debareram 32 verse 15, and HI known as Isaiah chapter 44. You will see all the pet names there. It is called Eziwam Muronanya and not Jeshurun or Yeshurun. It is not. It's Eziwam Muronanya. The Bible is our history. The Bible is my forefathers' history. The Bible is my history. The Bible is our word. The original words used in writing the ancient scripts is Okundibo, is Ibri, which is my language. Out of envy and transposition, the name was translated into Jeshurun, and was transferred to the New Testament and given to an European. They gave it to someone else. You see, this is where they got the name they transferred to the one they called Jesus. That's the truth. The original Ezinwa Murunanya, my beloved son, my beloved and worthy son. My beloved and worthy son is actually Nze Uchikobo. And those who rewrote and took the pet name from the Old Testament and took it to the New Testament, he said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. This is what we are suffering. Because you do not want to obey and keep tab with the instructions of the book of Haggai chapter 60, verse 12. The Most High have said it all. Go to Isaiah 60, what you call Isaiah 60, verse 12. He said, any nation that will not respect, obey, and reverence you shall be destroyed and utterly wiped out. Probably Nigeria is waiting for when all of the tribes around it shall be wiped out. See, let me also tell you something. When you come to Nigeria, we have only 3 tribes. It's only 3. So we have only 2 tribes. Yes, I'm going to say it. The whole of Nigeria have only 2 tribes. So everything anybody is telling you, tribe, that is a lie. It is nonsense. It is hubris. Complete lie from the pit. It's only 2 tribes. The Yoruba and the Hausa, they are 1 tribe. Born of the children of Ham. The Cushites, the one you know as Ham's children is the Yoruba and the Hausa. The one you call Shemites, which is not Shemites, the children of Chieme, let me put it away, Chemites or Chiemites are the father, is the father of all who dwell from the Middle Belt, from Oharan, which is in Zamfara, all the way to Ekanem, Obrono, down to Congo, back down to the Atlantic, to Obinu, down to Roboland. Everybody in that place, they are the same people. What the Roboman speaks is ancient Hebrew. Despite the fact that you may have some distortions here and there because of those that refuse to stay in their original land and they came to stay with them and cause confusion everywhere. What the Ijawa man speaks, the man you call Ijo, his original name is Ijawa. Those who glide on water, those who live on water, who move on water. Ijawa, that is their name, not even Ijo. Both the Ijo and Ichekri, those who live by the bank of river, Ichekri people, all of them, they speak Hebrew. The word you call Ijebu, it's not Ije Obu. The word you call Elijah, Elijah, and Alija Allah, you call Awori, is Awa Ori, the water people. You see, because of the history that was taken away from Nigerians, everybody seems to be behaving like an uncultured person. You took away history from them. You don't want them to identify with their people. Most of them have lost their identity, and now everybody is on each other's neck. You see somebody who does not even know that he is a brother. Look at the Okrika man. Is his name Okrika? No, his name is not Okrika. The word is Okiruka. Okiruka. Okeiruka. Okeiruka. And who are the Okeirukas? The Okeirukas are Ngwa people. The Ngwa man mixed with, what do you call them? The Ikama. When they dispersed at the place you call Naze. All of them were living at Naze. Everybody was living at Naze. That's why you have the Okiruka in what do you call their names? In Mbise. The Ndoki people are Ngwa. The Alime people are Ngwa. Yes, no? The Thai people are Ngwa people. The first dwellers of the land you call Potakota and Opiakpo, who are the Angwa people? The first dwellers, Angwa people, and partly Ika. Everybody needs to wake up. I'm telling you, everybody needs to wake up. So that we'll begin to live like normal people. So that we'll begin to live like people that have brains and that have sense.